Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did a video on the appointment of a period dignity officer in Scotland. This was quite controversial. The role was there to ensure that women who are having their periods have their dignity. In other words, really ensuring that sanitary products were available. I think it was mainly aimed at girls in schools and colleges and women in deprived areas, less affluent areas, for where these products could be deemed as quite expensive and almost a luxury. Well, what was controversial was not the role itself, but who was appointed. Someone who'd never had a period. In fact, it was, of course, a man. Well, the role has just evaporated and he's gone. And let's have a look at this article to see exactly what happened. And you have to laugh. So, Scotland's first ever period dignity officer role is axed by college, following threats and abuse. After the boxing and ultramarathon running ex-tobacco salesman was handed the $36,000 a year role. Duties include promoting free sanitary products and discussing menstruation, something he knows nothing about. Mr. Grant previously worked as an account manager with Imperial Tobacco, so he knows about flogging dangerous things. The UK's first ever role of period dignity officer has been scrapped following a furious global backlash for appointing a man to the job. Now, I did a video on this and I said it was wrong. I said, if you're going to have this kind of thing, you've got to have a woman. This is one of those roles, and I'm all for equality in most things. And I use the word most. There's some things that men are better suited for, some things that women are better suited for. When I go and see a doctor, for example, to discuss anything to do with my, let's say, testicular cancer, or I haven't got it, I'm just saying I've had to discuss it, or my prostate and things like that, I'd be far more comfortable speaking to a male doctor. I'm sure women would understand that. They wouldn't be sitting there going, "Oh, I'm anti-woman, I'm a misogynist because I want to speak to a man about my balls." So why should women be forced to construct and have arguments and address issues about periods, about menstruation, about sanitary products with a man? Why would you even consider this a thing? The people who appointed him, what is wrong with you? But this isn't that video. I've done that video. You can go and look at that video and see where I go completely bonkers about that, because it was mad. Anyway, the controversial decision to hand the role of talking to women and girls about periods and the menopause to a tobacco salesman turned macho professional trainer, Jason Grant, was slammed. Now, it must be pointed out that this Jason Grant is not a doctor, he's not a medical professional, he's a ciggy salesman. That's what he is. He's a ciggy salesman, and ironically, like a personal trainer who sells cigarettes. I mean, there's a bit of a hypocrisy, isn't it? Yeah, work those abs, want a fag? And no, by fag, it's a British term, it means cigarette. Get over it, America. Anyway, the SNP run councils, and it's always the SNP. Trust me, the SNP are the most awful Marxists and full of ultra-woke crap. Anyway, they run the council in the Tay region of Scotland, and they faced a huge backlash over the appointment amid accusations of institutionalised mansplaining and peak gender idiocy. We're going to read that as idiocracy. But Scotland is actually run by an idiocracy, so it's a Freudian slip there. Duties included promoting access to free sanitary products following the introduction of the Period Products Act, and discussing menstruation with young students of any gender. Now, this is the classic one, of any gender across the Tay Cities area. Let me point out, if you're a woman who pretends to be a man and you have a period, well, what you are is a woman pretending to be a man, but you are still a woman. And if you're a man who pretends to be a woman, well, you're never going to have periods anyway, are you? Because you're a man. So deal with that and all. A spokesman for the Period Dignity Working Group, which includes the MAD SNP, run Angus Council and Dundee City Council, and trust me, the SNP have run Dundee into the ground, said Mr. Grant's position has been axed after people involved face threats and abuse. Well, of course, if you're going to appoint someone who is not medically trained, there he is, right? This cigarette salesman has been appointed to talk to women about menstruation. He knows nothing about menstruation. He knows nothing about the human body. Well, he knows how to poison it with cigarettes, but there you go. Anyway, the Period Dignity Working Group, you couldn't make this crap up, could you? Is also made up of Dundee and Angus College and Perth College. When Mr. Grant was appointed, a panel led by the Dundee and Angus College's Learning Engagement Officer, Katie Baxter, claimed the decision was a no-brainer, period. Well, it's certainly a no-brainer because obviously anyone at those colleges has got no brain. But the colleges were rocked by claims the post was not advertised correctly and that the committee's lead knew Mr. Grant previously and employed him in at least 2 unrelated roles. In other words, jobs for the boys, rub my back, old school tie, say nothing, get in there son, 36,000 a year, and had 2 other roles at the same time by the same person, earning quite a lot of money over the time. Police need to be looking at the corruption in Angus and Dundee councils. At the time of his appointment, a spokesman for the working group claimed employing Jason was a no-brainer. As I've said, obviously there's not been a brain employed at all. With his vast experience in selling project management from both private and public sectors, coupled with his passion for making a difference to people in our community. Period. They keep using period. It's almost as though they're doing it on purpose. Anyway, among the critics was Claire Mullen, founder of Beta HR Limited, who took to LinkedIn to say he didn't meet one very strong criteria for the role: a track record of engaging and empowering a large range of people from a diverse range of cultural and socio-economic backgrounds, and in particular young people who menstruate. I think she means girls. He worked in tobacco sales and then as a PT. He was in no way qualified to do the role. His application should have been rejected. It couldn't be rejected. He was a chum of the guy that was about to make the decision on who to employ. Of course it would never have been rejected. Do you not get it? But he only applied. He didn't select his CV, conduct the interview, and then agree that he was the right candidate for the job. A hiring committee did that. They should be the ones we hold to account. The hiring committee led by his chum. And it just goes on there. But basically, they've had a lot of backlash. They've had a lot of people saying it's crazy. They haven't liked it. They've realised eventually that they've cocked it up, no pun intended, by putting a man in a role that absolutely should have been a role held by a woman. And I will end there and come up. And lo, it came to pass that a role that everybody said should have gone to a woman was given to a man. And the backlash began. And a global backlash. I mean, this is a tiny little council in the arse end of Scotland. They were probably not expecting this. But on the other hand, what do you expect? You've got the SNP in charge, and we all know how corrupt and useless they are. But anyway, that's enough of that. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notification of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't give jobs to cigarette salesmen, and goodbye.